All right, everyone, welcome back into another props video. Sorry about that. Going to be getting into the top prop bets that we have today. We are already getting a free square for Underdog, the Livy Dunn free square, as a lot of people will probably call it today. I'll get into that in just a second, but quick recap from yesterday. We already have some people in the chat as well, which is awesome. So we got, let's go. I like it. Yes, live stream today. Keep the momentum going. So that's referring to really just the awesome May that we have had thus far. Obviously, some good Flex Friday days. Yesterday was a good day as well. We'll get into that in just a second. This is interesting. This is actually always interesting to me, this comment. So see if the data is thinking the same thing he is. It's always nice when that does happen. So like yesterday, and we'll just get into it here in a second, is that the theme from yesterday, let me just pull it up here, is that really some of the projection data that we had and whatnot, and just it was a weird day in the sense that some of the projection data was not agreeing with what the sports books were telling us to bet. So it did make for kind of a lack of clarity, I guess, if you will, yesterday. And so it was a good day. It was pretty awesome. We got Icy Glass saying that he had a big day profit-wise yesterday as well, which is awesome. So yes, 4 for 5 on the day. A little bit unfortunate with Ryan here, where he had himself a lot of opportunities to get his overhitting fantasy score. He did not. Mike Conley, I mean, really just not anything close. I mean, everything but this one, just really, I mean, Freddie Freeman, I guess, but the pitching fantasy score prop bets that we had were right there. I mean, it was pretty awesome. Zach Wheeler as well. I mentioned he was a better prop bet on Underdog. And so I assume people used that yesterday with the Underdog discounts that came out as well. Hopefully, fingers are crossed that people did that. But yeah, just good day. Pretty awesome. Oh, interesting here. Took Luka a triple-double. That's an interesting one. But yeah, I do want to touch on a couple of other ones from yesterday as well. So I typically always run out the top ones on the board yesterday, or just in general, just to see how they did. And so the top 2 NBA prop bets that we had, as well as the Mike Conley one, which I liked a little bit more, and I guess for good reasons, because Mike Conley crushes over, but these 2 hit as well. And then the top WNBA prop bet ended up hitting as well. So good stuff there, right? There was Max Fried as well that popped up throughout the day, who really crushed his over. I mean, that one was one where throughout the day, I think it was like midway through the afternoon, Max Fried's fantasy score popped up as a good prop bet, and that ended up being like the second best one on the day. So I ended up using that one a decent amount as well. He struck out twice, I believe, yesterday, where he had runners in scoring position, which was very tilting, especially in that high scoring of a game. That's what's the most tilting to me, is that it was such a high scoring game. And he was fine. I mean, 5 fantasy score, but yeah, a little bit annoying there. Payday. It's profit day. It's profit day. So that's nice. Yeah. All right. So we'll actually start here. So we got, we'll start with WNBA. So WNBA free right now. I wouldn't say it's exactly free right now, but we do have 2 good prop bets right now on paper for WNBA, which is going to be Caleb McBride for over her fantasy score, and then Jackie Young for under their fantasy score. Now, these are not lock and loads by any means, but I do like to see that the data correlates with both of these. So again, the projection data is typically more aggressive for WNBA. I have said that a few times now, but it typically is. But never a bad thing to see that the projection data agrees with the average sportsbook line in comparison to PrizePicks. So to me, that's a decent edge that we are getting. And then Jackie Young as well, under her fantasy score of 40.5. Again, the projection data likes at 37, and then the fantasy score at 39.5. So pretty decent stuff there. And then let me just pull up. I want to pull up their game log on DraftKings real quick if I can. Give me a second here, just to see. I want to just like double verify, I guess, if you will. So yes, Jackie Young, it's a little bit different scoring. So she has been going off lately. Lots of steals, can't have multiple blocks. That could be a big thing, but also some turnovers in there. So maybe there's something to that. And then, yeah, McBride is the other one. So let's see here. McBride been getting heavy minutes. Love to see that. So, yeah, I feel pretty good about those 2. I wouldn't say that they're free by any means, but pretty good board there for WNBA. And then from there, just not as many great ones. I mean, some okay ones, but nothing too crazy. Projection data really likes this over. And then after that, kind of just stay push. So let's go ahead and jump back into MLB. And I do want to touch on this free square with MLB. So yes, the Libby Dunn free square that we have here. And there are 2 games for Pittsburgh today. So actually, one of the best prop bets that we have today is going to be Jared Jones for over his pitching fantasy score on both sites. So obviously, if you're using that one, you have to pair them up with others as well. We are getting a pretty good board for pitching fantasy score today, which I obviously really like. And so, do we have to go with hitting fantasy score today? Probably not. And so I'm starting out with the PrizePicks board because these are going to be bets that we use on PrizePicks, but also Underdog as well. And then we have Crawford for over his pitching fantasy score. Again, we're going to see that this is going to be a better bet on Underdog where it's going to be a little bit lower there. We like that. That's obviously one we can use there. And then PrizePicks wise, not as elite for pitching fantasy score. So let's go ahead now and get into Underdog. So it honestly does feel like a better day for Underdog as is, which I think is huge because we are getting that free square. So we might even be able to do, I think it's 20 to $10, probably 15 for most, I think, for the free square that's available. I'm probably going to do a 5 slip bet for that. And so we can see the best one that we have is going to be Mackenzie Gore for over his fantasy score. I feel pretty good about that one with him. Let's see, is that an early game or a late game? It's a late game. So let's pull that up here. Hasn't had that many wins recently. Guess a little bit of concern there. Is gained to 6 innings pitched the last 3 games. Like that there from him. Earned runs 2. So getting quality starts. That's obviously going to be huge. Strikeouts have been there as well. So yeah, that's a pretty solid one on paper, I think we can say. From there, again, we are getting a decent amount of good hitting fantasy score ones. I just don't know if we need to go in on those exactly. We got Alec for under his pitching fantasy score. This is one that's really popping up. And again, this is a day in which the data with the projection data and the average sportsbook line really agrees with each other. Now, yesterday that wasn't the case, and it was still an awesome day yesterday. So it's not the end all be all, but it does make me feel more comfortable with the board, if that makes sense. Where I might do a few more bets today than I did yesterday. Now, obviously, yesterday I kind of regret that, where it was a freaking awesome day. But it's all about proper bankroll management, and today seems like a better day. But again, I don't want to jinx that or anything like that. But it does seem like a good one today. And then some more pitching props. Again, looking at Crawford here, this is a good one on paper. So 54% edge for this one to hit. Average sportsbook line would still be favoring the over at 28.5. So this is a very big edge. Only projected to get 29.4. But again, in comparison to Underdog and even PrizePicks, we can see that the Underdog line is the clear outlier here, which is nice. And then a few more as well. If we scroll down a little bit, and again, I like to concentrate on pitching fantasy score the most. Jared Jones still popping up, still very solid. Again, in comparison, projection data 36.7, 37.5 for the average sportsbook line is still a very good one there. Let's see. Okay here with Riley, not as good. Tyler Skubal, I'm probably not chasing him today. You could. It's not terrible, but I don't need to get there. Corbin Burns is also decent. And that's the thing. We're just getting so many decent prop bets. The other one that I liked earlier, and maybe the data doesn't like it as much now, was Yu Darvish for over his fantasy score, especially in comparison to the PrizePicks line. That one was one that was popping up as well. And then just one other one for PrizePicks that I want to call out for MLB was Kyle Harrison. This is one that has about a 53% chance to hit. Was it taken off the board? No, it's here. This one has about a 53% chance that he's been extremely consistent. The projection data likes the over, the average sportsbook line likes the over. So really, I mean, this is like 1 or 2 more outs and another pitch and strikeout. It's not that much. It's either like a quality start here or there. So it's really not that much. And actually, let's just try to pull that one up as well. See what he's been doing. So 5, 5, 5, 7. So he just hasn't been getting a quality start pretty much. If you give him an extra inning, that's 3 extra outs, and you give him 4 to 5, 4 for underdog, 5. No, I messed that up. 4 for PrizePicks is a quality start. That's how much points that is, and then 5 for underdog. You give him that extra inning, and he's there. Now, obviously, that's due to pitch count. Kind of mentioned that with Hunter Brown yesterday, where it's just not exactly terrible, but just getting high pitch counts, so he wasn't getting those quality starts. So, yeah. All right, so let's get caught up on some questions, and I'll get into some golf and NBA as well. This is nice from Icy Class, like that there. Let's see. I just want to get into some questions as well. Cat had a weird day yesterday, but awesome. Nice hit there. All right, so King is saying he was earlier. They were saying, let's see if the data agrees with what he was thinking. So yeah, Jackie Young looking like a good prop bet. Best 2 MLB today. Is this for PrizePicks or Underdog? I can kind of answer it for both. For PrizePicks, no, we'll start with Underdog. For Underdog, I think Mackenzie Gore, kind of clear and obvious there, is the better one. And then I like Jared Jones a little bit more. That's an earlier game, so depends like kind of when you're getting your bets in for the day. But Mackenzie Gore for sure. And then maybe Crawford as well for over his pitching fantasy score. You could run that one out as well. Now, I will say there are some opportunities to stack hitting fantasy score with those pitchers where it either correlates, with the over fantasy score with their teammates. You could do that today, or you could do the opposite where you're running under fantasy scores for some of the hitters as well, where they're going against the pitcher. Don't need to do that today though. And then let's see for PrizePicks then. Still Jared Jones, that's a good one, and then probably still Crawford. Those are still my 2 favorites probably. Yeah. It was a good day yesterday. Yes. Happy to hear that you took advantage of that as well. So let's see here. So yeah, just in general, guys, I do want to just kind of mention that. So if you did my Taco Tuesday strategy, which was, you place, and you don't have to do this. If you guys have a strategy, the biggest thing is to stick to it. Like technically speaking, if you guys have a big enough bankroll, you should do 6 slip bets on Taco Tuesday. But at the same time, it's tough to give yourself almost a guaranteed profit on the year of like $2,000 if you do this strategy, which is you bet the 5 best bets individually with each taco. So yesterday there was 4, which they all hit, which was great, and so you at least had a profit of $140, which that sounds good, right? That's never a bad thing. And so they try to throw free money out at us on Taco Tuesday, and I think what I noticed is that 2 weeks ago we had extreme discounts. Like those ones were, I never like to say locks, but like they were extremely discounted to the points where they were basically trying to say these are free squares. It's Taco Tuesday. We're not going to give you guys free squares, but these are essentially free squares. And the reason why they do this is because people don't take advantage of Taco Tuesday properly. They try to go too crazy because they think they are getting essentially a free square. So that's where I say bet them individually 5 times. Take the risk out of it. Kind of give yourself that long-term guaranteed profit. And I hate to say absolutes like that, but it does turn out to be true. And then real quickly, we'll jump into some NBA right now. So let's see. So NBA wise, nothing too crazy. I will say, honestly, the thing I'm most disappointed about myself yesterday was not going in on Derrick Jones Jr. a little bit more. I kind of mentioned that he was the one that was going to benefit the most. That's where I miss regular season NBA DFS, because that to me is the most fun part of NBA, is breaking down who's going to benefit or not benefit the most from injuries. And that's where I think we get the biggest edge in NBA. So if you guys have been wondering why I haven't been coming out with those detailed breakdowns for each slate like I had been during the regular season, that's why. I mean, it's playoff basketball. Not too much changes from game to game as well, which is unfortunate. But when we saw that Lively was out, I was kind of excited about Derrick Jones Jr. Again, kind of mad at myself for not going in on that one more, but it is what it is. Who cares? Good day. Today, right now, with the board, obviously this game isn't today. Not that much there. I mean, if you want to do Kyrie for over 2.5 turnovers, you could. Slight edge here with Gobert. Rebounds and assists for his under 12.5. PGA Washington over 5.5 rebounds. Like these are all good, but not great. And again, the projection data will update the day of the game, just as an FYI. But yeah, nothing too much there NBA wise. So we don't really need to attack that as well. And then we'll jump into some PGA. PGA wise, unfortunately, not big edges today. And I really, or for tomorrow, I should say, for round one. And I was hoping that there would be because I know a lot of you probably don't follow golf too much, but this is the Canadian Open. And so the Canadian Open operates a lot like the US Open or PGA Championship. It's kind of Canada's biggest golf event, pretty much. And so they will like to switch courses. And so the course that they have this year was the course that we actually saw in 2019. And because of that, I thought we might get some sneaky edges. PrizePicks and Underdog wise, we're not, and that actually might be because while they're both sites are taking a conservative approach with the lines that are out there. They don't want to go too high or too low, and they're just basically putting them at averages. And you guys will see that there. Nothing too crazy. Now, the one biggest edge on PrizePicks that we have, I don't think we need to go in on, which are all these birdie or better ones. I don't think we need to do that. I don't think it's worthwhile. So yeah. Sorry, one sec. Who do you mean by shooter? Who's that? I don't my bad if I'm not catching that. That's on me if I'm not. But let's see here. This is a good question, I think, as well. We'll get into that, and I'll show you guys my underdog kind of bet of the day with that free square. But yeah, we had the MMA free square, so this is a good question. So if anyone hasn't seen that one, we do have the MMA free square. I did use this a little bit yesterday with Zach Wheeler and then also Hunter Brown. So I typically, again, I'm very much take advantage of the free squares. You know, I try to practice what I preach, especially to you guys, which I probably should do 6 slip bets instead, where, you know, in the long term, that's going to pay off a little bit more when they do hit, but still. Let's see here. Pairing it with demons. So typically, no. Again, so answering the question here, I'm very much someone that's like, let's just take the profit here. Like if you hit 2, again, it's typically they give you 25. PrizePicks gives you 25 for a free square. If you just hit 2, you're hitting profit. Now it's only $5 profit. Like who cares, right? A lot of people will say, but at the same time, that does add up, right? Like you minimize the bad days that you have, and you're kind of maximizing the good days that you can have. So I do think that can be kind of worthwhile there. And then let's see. So like let's just kind of look at the demons and goblins that we have just for MLB. And my issue, and honestly, this is probably just something I need to get over, but with demons and goblins, I just really cannot get over the fact that sorry again. The payouts are so much more reduced on PrizePicks and like even alternate props on sleeper and whatnot. They're so much reduced to what they should be in comparison to a sports book that I can't get over that, if that makes sense. Like the goblins are just a joke, and demons for the most part are kind of a joke as well. Like they just don't pay out as much as they should be in comparison to a sports book because they pay out much better. Now, that being said, like this one, again, with demons reading this, this you kind of look at the opposite. So when you're looking at a demon, this is basically saying these right here that are all 54, the over then would have a 46% chance of hitting. Those are not good odds. Obviously, with PrizePicks Underdog, kind of the key is the fact that we can get edges on them by chasing bets that have a 54% likelihood or better to hit. That's basically my goal with PrizePicks and Underdog. And I think you guys kind of understand that strategy by now. If not, you know, do have videos out on that as well. So again, guys, if you see me kind of looking off that way, that's because my camera's slightly in front of the chat. I should probably move that on my screen, but give me a second here. There was 4 discounts. I believe 3 out of the 4 hit. I think one was Cat. I think it was the White Sox pitcher, or not White Sox, Yankees pitcher pitching strikeouts. I think that's the one that missed. I don't know. I'd have to go back and look. I don't recall off the top of my head. Nice. That's a solid one. Oh, okay. That makes sense. Okay. For the Cubs. I don't think we haven't for like fantasy score. I recall that we weren't getting um enough of his lines in just yet. I've kind of mentioned this a few times now, where to give a proper um average sportsbook line, uh whether that be, the percent over or the line, there needs to be all the data points that are coming in. So like possibility of getting a win, quality starts, like innings pitched is a big one, or pitching outs is basically what it is. Earned runs and then strikeouts. We need to be getting like all four of those. And so for him just yet today, we're not getting those. I kind of mentioned with Max Fried yesterday. That was one that popped up throughout the day yesterday. And that's why, because we weren't getting the full data set going into it from all the sports books, which that's sports betting, right? Books aren't going to put out lines unless they like the lines, and so sometimes it's a little bit longer. Do you have two that you are confident in? I would say yes. I don't know. I never like to kind of live in the. I don't like to say confident. I don't like to say locks or guarantees too much. I never like to promote that. It's like it's a day to day thing. It's a bet to bet thing. Try to have the long term profitability is kind of my approach. But yes, we do have some good bets on the board today. Let's put it that way. So, kind of mentioned again with some of these pitching props, we are getting some good ones on PrizePicks. Today, the board looks a little bit better on Underdog, though. So, here we go. I'll show you guys the Underdog bet of the day. So, again, I went with it's $15 that I got for this one. We're taking the Livy Dunn free square, and then I paired these 5 up with that. Okay, so this one does seem to be the best edge that we are currently getting right now. These prop bets. Mackenzie Gore is the best one on the board. Then Cutter Crawford for over his fantasy score. Then Toronto's under against the White Sox. I don't exactly love that. We'll see. And then Jared Jones. So we do have 2 Pittsburgh players in this, which is fine. Like I'm fine with that. If you just want to do your max amount bets, you could do Gore with the Livy Dunn free square. So I'm fine. I'm fine with that. And then let's see here. And so just a small reminder, if you guys have never used Underdog before, you can use the promo code 9to5. That will just kick back some money, to the channel. Always appreciated when people do that. Let's see here. Lockstar Myth. Yes. Good morning. What's going on? Always appreciate the comments on the video. So let's see if we are getting pitching strikeouts here for this one just yet. And I'll give you my thoughts if we are. Interesting. I'll show you it on my screen real quick here. So we only have fantasy score for him right now, is what I'm seeing. The over slightly favorited, so I'm guessing that probably has to do with pitching strikeouts a little bit there. Let's just see though. I might just have to pull this up on Underdog. 7.5, 6.5. That's a lot. All right, yeah. Give me a second here. I'll pull that up on Underdog as well. Let's see any other questions as well while that's loading. You can't flex it. So that's a good question. I wanted to flex it. Typically, you should always flex those. You can't flex it because it's a discounted square. So, yeah, it's a little bit unfortunate. Or else I would say yes, flex that, typically speaking. So, to answer the question about the pitching one, the under is slightly favored. for pitch and strikeouts. So probably just to stay away. What I'm seeing is it's just to stay away. If so, yeah, Mackenzie Gore's fantasy score isn't on PrizePicks just yet. We don't have to run it out on PrizePicks. So today, kind of nicely with that free square, is that it does seem to be a better day on Underdog right now, which is kind of the nice part of it. So, so thoughts on hitter fan? Is this a PrizePicks or Underdog question? So, just kind of curious. We are getting a lot of good hitting fantasy score prop bets today in general. So like you can do that, but I just want to pair those up with the pitchers if I can, whether that be going against them or going with them. Obviously, if it's a teammate, over pitching fantasy score with over hitting fantasy score, I don't mind that. Harper today, let's see. Bryce Harper is fine. I'll pull it up here. One second. So nothing elite here. So we're going to see that the average sportsbook line would have it set at 8.2, projection 9.4. PrizePicks a little bit lower than the underdog line. So not terrible. At least the data correlates with that. So not one I would talk you out of, but not one that you would kind of naturally find using this tool. But definitely fine. You can use that one. Yeah. Bryce Harper on PrizePicks. Yep. Yeah, so a little bit better on PrizePicks there, for sure. Let's just see. I think I just need to refresh this. One sec. Could just be, that's interesting. So the slight difference in scoring between PrizePicks and Underdog, not as good. So maybe just want to stay away from, honestly, unless you're doing it on Underdog. Maybe not. So let's see. So I'll just actually show you the best hitting fantasy score ones that we have right now. And so I'm going to do data correlates, especially if this is a PrizePicks question. And so it's okay. So the best one is going to be Marcus Semien for over his hitting fantasy score. I do want to call out that his line was originally set at I think it was 2.5 hits, runs, RBIs, and that Suns come down from that. Like the under was heavily favored there, like 64% for that hit. But obviously with the line originally being at 2.5, that is still pretty good. We got Pete Alonso. That's a better one on PrizePicks. Okay. Let's see. We are getting some more pitching fantasy score, but not crazy. So this is just much more of a pitching fantasy score day, I would say. Aaron Judge is okay, but like now we're getting to low percentages there. So in terms of where the data correlates, we have about 1, 2, 3 good hitting fantasy scores, if that makes sense. So the projection data updates before or around 9 a.m. Central. So the projection data updates then for the day. And then the sportsbook lines and the underdog and PrizePicks lines update every hour. So, and again, I do it that way, so I'm not charging too much. Pretty much, if I had to do more refreshes, I'd basically have to up the membership price like 240 or at least 20, double it. I don't want to do that. I have a way in which I can do it for $10 a month, so I do it for $10 a month. That's kind of a slight sacrifice that I make with the data, is that it updates once every hour. The only time that's ever an issue is honestly in NBA though, where someone will be a DMP right before lineup lock and you might not be able to adjust properly. Like that's the only thing. NFL, MLB, even WNBA, there's not enough late scratches to where it makes a big difference. What we like for WNBA. So yeah, we got 2 good prop bets here. And I can answer those. And then I will be kind of getting out of here, guys, because I need to do a golf live stream after this. So if you guys are subscribed to the 9 to 5 golf channel, check that out. But first, real quickly, guys, I just found out that this channel is like in the top 2,000 for US based YouTube channels, which I kind of thought was cool. Sports based channels, top 3,000 in USA in total, which is kind of cool, I thought. just interesting fun fact that I learned yesterday, but kind of cool. But these are the top. These top two are the only ones I would want to run out right now. Kayla McBride over her fantasy score, and then Jackie Young under her fantasy score. Just looking at the projection data, looking at the average sportsbook line, that's what the data is telling us to do. So, yes. Trey, awesome stuff there. Love to see it that you had a good day yesterday. So we did get a question about some esports props. Let's see if we're getting any discrepancies that are pulling in. We got a couple for esports specifically. So I'm highlighting those two here. Where's that question for esports? That's good. So I only do the discrepancies where we're getting these, and so we got two CS:GO. I need to add in teammates here. That's actually I need to write that down. Their team ID and stuff for the discrepancies. I have a long list of stuff I always want to add in, and that's also kind of the nice part of how I have my data set up is I can add in stuff kind of easier. I'm actually writing that down because that's something I should add in. Team ID, because if I don't know if these two are teammates is what I'm saying right now. So like you could just run these two out as a middle, bet what would it be the over on PrizePicks for this one, and then the under on PrizePicks for this one, and then obviously do the opposite on Underdog. Like I don't mind middling. Do I have a PrizePicks bet today? Sort of, yes. I'll show you that in just a second here. Don't forget to like the live stream. Yes, everyone liked the live stream. I'm not sure what we are at, but I did notice the last live stream, we have 130 viewers right now. The last live stream was like 100 and we had like 15 likes. If anyone could just like the video, I do appreciate that. That helps the channel, and obviously that does help me kind of just put out more content for you guys. Like as long as there's support with the channel, I can always do more content. Like I could do 2 live streams if it does enough, like one morning one and then one evening one. But yeah, let me get the PrizePicks slip loaded for the day. Give me a second here. It's not as good of a day today on PrizePicks, but it's okay. And this stuff does change throughout the day as well. Yeah, and just in general about like content right now, it's just a slower time of year, to be honest with you guys, with MLB going on, with the games starting in the afternoon sometimes. There's not as much shelf life to my videos sometimes, where during the NFL or even NBA, you come out with a video in the morning, you at least have 10, 12 hours, for that shelf life of that video, which for YouTube purposes, getting behind the scenes a little bit here, that's terrible. Like that is a bad thing, because it's just you're not going to get as many recommendations from YouTube and whatnot. Don't want to get into that too much, but that's kind of the issue right now with just content in the summer is that the shelf life is terrible. Sometimes it's like an hour. Like if you guys were just coming here for the early games today with Pittsburgh, like that's like 1.5 hours, right? Like that's not a good shelf life. Just behind the scenes a little bit. Let's see here. And it's weird because like May has been the best month props betting wise this year, but the YouTube views would not be saying that on the channel. And again, that just comes down to summer and whatnot. I get it. But yes, for a PrizePicks bet of the day, this is the best one that we are seeing right now. And we don't have to go crazy with it. Don't love this, but it is a 5 slip bet. Again, hopefully it works out, but I'm probably doing more on Underdog today and maybe even a little bit on pick 6. We will see if PrizePicks board gets a little bit better. It's not terrible as it sits right now, but not anything elite. And that's the biggest thing with betting is you never need to force anything, especially in today's day and age where there's so many options. You never need to force it. Yeah, icy glass. It is difficult. Honestly, it's a little bit of a mental challenge as well with that content because it's like a battle each day to get content out. And I don't like that. I don't like pushing content just to push content. I want to do videos and stuff where there's actual edge. So it's a balancing act for sure. I do wonder if a Prize Picks employee does watch the channel. I mean, right? Like it wouldn't be too crazy. One of the slightly bigger Prize Picks Underdog content creators does a video. It wouldn't be surprising to see an employee turn it on and watch for a little bit. Underdog slip. I'll show you the underdog slip again. Give me a second here. I need to get that loaded again. One second. And then, yes, I'll be getting out of here in just a second. Typically, I only like to do 30-minute live streams. This one's going on 37 minutes. So this would be the underdog slip that I am running out then as well. So we got the two Pittsburgh ones. Again, these are two different games, just as an FYI. We're taking the under fantasy score here. And then we got Gore and Crawford for over their fantasy points. So, okay. I would like to flex this, but you can't do that today because we are using the discount square. If you just want to roll with one bet, just try to make, what would it be? $30? Is that what it'd be? $30? I guess it's 15. Oh, sorry. I didn't switch the slide. My apologies here. Let's redo that. So yes, sorry, apologies there. Didn't switch slide. So these two are on the same team, two different games today, just as an FYI. If I had to pair it with just one, it'd be this one, Mackenzie Gore. And just as an FYI, yes, again, just to reiterate, this cannot be flexed. It has to be a power. So that's it. I did see the new Scotty footage. Thank you for asking. Interesting there, right? No one probably cares. I should save this for the golf live stream. Again, going to be going live on the 9 to 5 Golf channel, basically right after this video or half an hour after it. Anyone that followed that story, Sky Scheffler News, they just released audio from that. Extremely interesting. In a weird way, it kind of almost makes the cops look a little bit better than what the original video showed, because it does kind of, the audio of Scotty shows him clearly confused, I guess, in the early mornings of the day a little bit, but also still just a weird situation in general. You guys probably, yeah. So Josh is saying this. Joshua was saying the same. I don't know how I feel. It was a weird video, right? Like the original video that was shown didn't really show Scotty doing anything wrong. It's just kind of a clear confusion, right? So this is a good question. So yes and no. So the biggest difference between Prize Picks and Underdog comes with their quality starts and their wins. So it's 5 on Underdog for both, I'm pretty sure. And then it's 4 for a quality start on Prize Picks, and then 6 for a win on Prize Picks. So in total, they equal the same thing. So my guess is that it's his quality start is kind of throwing it off a little bit for the Underdog line. And so I think that's the biggest difference with it. So he must not be likely to get a quality start. And so with that, with it, PrizePicks valuing a quality start a little bit higher, or sorry, with Underdog valuing a quality start a little bit more, that does make sense to me. So it's okay. Do you have two fair picks? Yes and no. Like for Underdog, like Crawford and Mackenzie Gore are standing out for PrizePicks. It's all a little bit like they all kind of feel the same. Like a little bit more Crawford on PrizePicks and Jared Jones a little bit more on PrizePicks, but I don't think we have to go crazy with those. So, and then again, as always, guys, this stuff's going to be updating throughout the day. We might get better or worse lines on these prop bets. Just be checking it out before you place a bet. I always like to encourage that as well. So that's exactly, that's what I've always went for with the 9 to 5. I like that you're getting that. Thank you. Yes. Um, So yeah, just real quickly, again, I probably need to be getting out of here. I appreciate the support though. So the Scotty Scheffler stuff. So it definitely was interesting. So he pretty much there was a terrible accident that happened on Friday of the PGA Championship, which is one of the biggest golf events. Um, Someone was killed in a car accident, and because of that, there was a lot of traffic at the entrance to the PGA Championship. The PGA Tour players were notified that they could still go into the course. Um, a cop kind of asserted himself into Scotty Scheffler's car pretty much when he was trying to get into the course. And then it didn't seem like Scotty responded perfectly well based off of the audio that happened. But at the same time, it didn't seem like Scotty did anything wrong. It was just kind of a miscommunication with a chaotic situation that was going on. Basically, Scotty Scheffler was put into jail and then was released that same day, was able to make his tee time, and then still shot a fantastic score for a major. He was the favorite to win, and then that kind of all passed. There was a video released last week, I think on Friday, kind of showing Scotty probably didn't do anything wrong. And there was an audio released this morning that kind of just showed the clear confusion of the situation. So yes. Yeah, so this is actually I know exactly why the PGA payouts are less than other sports because the golf props extremely correlate. So for the most part with golf, you're more betting on how the course is going to play rather than the player for the most part. A golfer can hit a lucky shot and maybe make an eagle when he shouldn't have, or what's more likely is they make a bad shot that really ruins a round. That stuff happens all the time, but still, for the most part, the course is going to play how the course is going to play. The players have to play the course a certain way. So with PGA props, they heavily correlate together. Last year at this time is when they switched it over because there was so many situations where between PrizePicks and Underdog, you could middle with them where the lines were off by a decent amount, like one stroke or 1.5 strokes or whatever the line was. And they were full payouts. So like it was massive with these. And so they had to adjust. They didn't have any like at one point Underdog, I think they took away their PGA props. And at one point they only let you bet on one category for a PGA prop. PrizePicks decide to adjust theirs, and so they still got their PGA action, and so that's why, because it was too big of an edge, which you don't really blame them. They probably will drop all the charges today, or eventually. It kind of is what it seemed like. Um, so Seth, for his fantasy score, let me look it up on my end real quick. I believe his under was one that popped enough, but it's also one where we're not getting enough data on just yet. Whether that I think it's the pitching outs. Most of the time, it's the pitching outs or likely to record a win, and so we don't have enough data on him to accurately say that. Now, I do believe some other sites have some lines out there where they're also favoring the under. So is what it is. Now, yesterday other sites had Zach Wheeler for over or for under fantasy score as like one of the best ones, and I saw that as a popular bet out there. And I was like, oh boy, please, people be betting the over for that, not the under. And it is what it is. Jared Jones removed from Underdog. Is that why someone said there's an employee watching? I hope he's still starting. Did they switch the starters? That would suck. Give me a second here. Huh. I wonder, there had to be some sort of roster change for today, or maybe someone's pitching. Maybe they switched the starters for the games. I don't know. That's weird. Don't know. I would have to look at that. I don't know. I can look real quick to see if anyone's like a DNP randomly. That doesn't change too much in baseball typically, but they probably just realize that they're giving us an edge. It's my only guess. All right, but I need to get out of here, guys. So let me pull up that underdog bet again real quick. Then I'm leaving. So this is what I'm running out for underdog bet of the day. 5 slip bet. Again, I wish I could run that out as a flex slip. Cannot. So it's going to be a full slip. Fingers crossed. If you guys just wanted to do a 2 slip bet, you could run out Mackenzie Gore. We are getting a decent day on PrizePicks today as well. Do want to set the expectations that today is probably not going to be as good of a day as yesterday, most likely because yesterday was a good day. So it's very rare that it goes back to back, just as an FYI. But that's going to be all for today. Appreciate everyone being here. Again, going to be trying to do more live streams. Wednesday live streams will probably be a thing. Friday live streams will probably be a thing going forward. So do appreciate it. Again, going to be jumping on the 9 to 5 Golf YouTube channel to go over my favorite bets and DFS picks for the RBC Canadian Open in about 20 minutes after this. So check that out. All right. Thanks for watching. Good luck today. And as always, let's keep cashing.